Okay, so welcome to your video for the inner child. The inner child is one of my favorite topics of all time. It's not necessarily to do with your Reiki certification at all, but it does work really well when you are working with people with inner child, like we all have things going on. It's really a beautiful modality to go back to those places and heal those parts of us using Reiki, and more specifically using distance Reiki, which you'll learn as you further your learnings and studies into Reiki. So yeah, our inner child is basically all the pieces of us from our younger self that have metabolized how we live, how we feel, our emotions, our patterns. There are certain pieces of us that run through us because we are just our child, right? We only were born once, we're only just that one person, but we become this adult, but really we're just big kids in these big bodies, and we just want to have fun, and we just want to have a good time, and we just want to really need to have our basic needs met. And as children, our basic needs are the need for feeling safe, the need for feeling heard, and the need for feeling non-judged in our truest expression of ourselves and in all of our magic. And when pieces of those when some of those needs weren't met as children, when we didn't feel safe, or we didn't feel heard, or we felt judged for really just being who we are and all of our whole self, we learn to then as adults dim those pieces of us, those parts, those expressions that were judged. We put them in a dark corner, right? And we don't feel safe to express them and to express all of ourselves. And at the end of the day, we really need to express all parts of ourselves and love all parts of ourselves before we can really expand into everything that we are, and to be able to receive everything that this beautiful life has to offer us. So basically, when we felt that we were not heard, or we were misunderstood, or we were in situations that didn't feel safe, and it doesn't mean that it had to feel like extremely unsafe, like you were at gunpoint or things like this. It could really just feel like you were scared. So you were scared in a car, maybe a car crash or a car, something like that, and or you didn't feel safe, and or having your parents just not see your concern for something as an actual concern and just make it seem like you were being ridiculous for being scared about something, right? So when those things happen, we metabolize them as we get older, and we learn to play small, and we learn to feel safe by addictions, by bad habits, right, that make us feel a certain way, that make us feel consistent. It could be overeating, overindulging in drugs and alcohol. It could be constantly dating men or women who are unavailable to us because we always felt like maybe we were going to be left, or maybe we always just saw relationships not working around us. So we decided to follow that pattern and make ourselves feel safe by leaving first, or by ending the situations first. It could go on and on and on. But what I'm trying to say is, a lot of these things that happened as children, the reason why they felt like such big traumatic experiences, not saying that they weren't, and I'm sure there's many situations where people have gone through extremely traumatic situations. I know they have as children and all over the world. But what I'm talking about here is when these things have happened to us, we didn't know how, when our parents got divorced, or when we were scared in a car crash, or we were made fun of for being scared of a ride at a carnival, etc., etc. We didn't have the tools in our toolbox as children, as young adults, to be able to understand, oh, that wasn't because of me. Oh, they weren't laughing at me, or they were probably just scared. That's why they were laughing, right? Whatever it may be, we didn't have the tools to really fully understand and to witness and see that child. We were just in the thick of it, in the middle of all of this emotion that we didn't know how to deal with at the time. And when we have had these things happen to us, oftentimes we do pick up interesting habits and different behaviors that we may want to change as adults that are just no longer serving us or no longer working for us. And when you're working with clients or with yourself, you can really go back to the inner child, and we can try to feel that emotion, go back to that emotion and change, and then we can change the pattern, and then we can change the behavior, right? We cannot change a pattern or a behavior without first going internally, because the pattern is just that external effect of what's happening internally. So when we can really go back in through the emotion, feel the emotion, see the emotion, understand what our younger self was feeling, and look at it with love and compassion rather than judgment and comparison, we're able to understand and heal and transform that emotion and transform that pattern that no longer serves us into something that will, and be able to use all of those lessons that we extracted from that situation to become stronger, to become more self-aware, right? So when we can really listen to what does my inner child, me, really need in this moment, when I'm feeling scared, when I'm feeling abandoned, when I'm feeling lost, when I'm feeling stupid, what do I really need? And a lot of the times what we need to do is set boundaries for ourselves, especially when it comes to other people and with our time and with our money. And when we can set boundaries in those situations, we're able to set some sort of stability within us, right? And being able to know that I can say no, or I need this from a partner, or I need this from myself, or I need this time. I can't be giving more than I give myself on a daily basis. And when you can start saying no and start using your voice, you're gonna really be able to trust yourself. And therefore, when you can trust yourself, you can really trust your intuition when it comes to everyday life, and when it comes to performing Reiki and feeling into the body, feeling into the emotion, right? So we're constantly moving, we're constantly evolving, we're constantly changing. What do you need right now? And when you can honestly, what does my inner child need right now? What do I need right now? And when you can sit back and witness what you need, what your younger self needed in that very moment when you felt that emotion, and what you need in this very moment where you're feeling a certain emotion or a certain way about something, and actually listen to yourself and say, oh, I need this, and not judge it, and accept that, hey, this is just what I need right now, and be able to follow through with that, then we gain trust with ourselves. Then we gain trust with our intuition, with our higher power, and really with the magic that you and me are. So I have more of a write-up in your module, so go back and take a look at that, and I encourage you to study deeper into the inner child and really witness and be with your inner child. The more and more we get to do that and get to play and explore those pieces of us that may have slipped through the cracks and that don't get enough attention now, right? Then we can really evolve into our most profound, pleasurable man or woman who we want to be, which is at our highest vibration. And yeah, the more fun we can have, the more pleasurable life can be. So just take that into your day, your week, your year, your life. All right. Mwah.